Mattaboy, the 3rd of March 1978 ca. 1999, was a British Thoroughbred racehorse and sire. As a 2-year-old in 1980 he won on his debut and went on to finish second in the Mill Reef Stakes, before recording his most important victory in the Middle Park Stakes. He failed to win in 1981 but produced a career-best performance when narrowly beaten by To-Agori-Mou in the 2000 Guineas. A brief sojourn in the United States was unsuccessful and he was well beaten in 2 starts as a 4-year-old. After his retirement from racing, Mattaboy stood as a breeding stallion in Japan, where he had limited success as a sire of winners. Background: Mattaboy was a chestnut horse with a narrow white blaze bred in England by the Cheveley Park stud. He was from the first crop of foals sired by Music Boy, a high-class sprinter whose wins included the Gimcrack Stakes in 1975 and the King George Stakes. In the following year, he began his stud career at the bargain basement fee of £500 but was the leading first-season sire in Britain in 1980. Mattaboy's Dam Green Chartreuse won 2 minor races as a 2-year-old in 1972 and was a half-sister to the Gran Premio del Jockey Club winner Statef. She was a great-granddaughter of the broodmare Greenbridge, whose other descendants have included Minster Sun. As a yearling, Mattaboy was offered for sale at auction and was bought for 10,500 guineas by the bloodstock agent To-Cherry Downs on behalf of the Indian shipping magnate Ravi Tikku. The colt was sent into training with Robert Armstrong at Newmarket, Suffolk. Racing career: 1980, 2-year-old season. Mattaboy never contested a maiden race, instead making his racecourse debut in the 5-furlong Star Stakes at Sandown Park Racecourse in July and winning easily from 2 opponents. In August he started odds-on favourite for the Rouse Memorial Stakes at Goodwood Racecourse but was beaten 1.5 lengths by the filly Integrity, to whom he was conceding £6 in weight. Later in the month he contested the Prince of Wales's Stakes at York Racecourse and finished 3rd, behind the fillies Marwell and Welshwin. In the Mill Reef Stakes at Newbury Racecourse in September he led for most of the way before being overtaken a furlong out and was beaten 1.5 lengths by Sweet Monday. In October, Mattaboy was moved up to Group 1 class for the first time in the Middle Park Stakes over 6 furlongs at Newmarket Racecourse. Ridden by Robert Armstrong's brother-in-law Lester Piggott, he started the 7 over 1/5 choice in the betting behind Belle Bolide, winner of the Gimcrack Stakes, Coolini Prince, Windsor Castle Stakes, Goodbye Starter and Band Practice, runner-up in the Phoenix Stakes. The other 4 runners were Parkdale and Poldhu, who had finished 2nd and 3rd in the Gimcrack, and the outsiders New Year's Day and Von Herlach. He raced towards the rear of the field as Belle Bolide set the pace before moving up rapidly on the rail to challenge the leader a 1/4 mile from the finish. After a sustained struggle in the closing stages, Mattaboy drew ahead in the final strides and won by 1/2 length from Belle Bolide, with Poldhu 2 lengths back in 3rd. 1981. 3-year-old season. Mattaboy finished unplaced on his 3-year-old debut and was then sent to France for the Poule des Polens over 1,600 metres at Longchamp Racecourse on the 26th of April. Ridden by Pat Ebery, he started a 17 over 1 outsider and finished 8th of the 10 runners behind Recitation. Following 2 poor performances, the colt started a 50 over 1 outsider for the 173rd running of the 2,000 Guineas over the Rowley Mile course at Newmarket on the 2nd of May. He was hampered at the start and then fought against John Reed's attempts to restrain him at the rear of the field. In the second half of the race he made rapid progress to dispute the lead and got the better of a struggle with Bell Bolide, but was caught in the final stride and beaten a neck by the favourite, To-Agori-Mou. 2 weeks after his run at Newmarket, Mattaboy was sent to the Curragh and started third favourite for the Irish 2000 Guineas. Ridden by Tony Murray, he finished fourth of the 13 runners in a controversial race won by Kingslake. Mattaboy was scheduled to face To-Agori-Mou and Kingslake in the St James's Palace Stakes at Royal Ascot, but was withdrawn after being found to be running an abnormally high temperature on the morning of the race. He reappeared in the Sussex Stakes at Goodwood on the 29th of July but ran poorly and finished 7th, 13 lengths behind the winner Kingslake. He was then sent to race in the United States, where he was trained by Peter Howe. On his only North American start, he finished 5th in an allowance race at Saratoga Racecourse on the 19th of August and was subsequently returned to England to rejoin Armstrong's stable. 1982 4-year-old season. Mattaboy was campaigned as a printer in 1982, but failed to win in his 2 races. He showed some promise on his debut when finishing 7th behind Lightning Label in the Palace House Stakes over 5 furlongs at Newmarket May. He started favourite for the Duke of York Stakes later that month but ran disappointingly and finished unplaced behind Jester. He was later found to have sustained a serious injury to the ligaments in his right foreleg and did not race again. Assessment. In the official international classification of European 2-year-olds for 1980, Mattaboy was given a rating of 76, making him £12 inferior to the top-rated Storm Bird. The independent Timeform organisation rated him on 121, £13 behind Storm Bird, who was their best 2-year-old of the year. In their annual Racehorses of 1980, Timeform described Mattaboy as the best of mediocre bunch of 2-year-old colt sprinters. In the following year, Timeform gave him a rating of 124, £16 behind their Horse of the Year Sugar. He received a Timeform rating of 115 in 1982. Stud record. At the end of his racing career, Mattaboy was exported to become a breeding stallion in Japan. He stood in Japan from 1983 until 1999 but covered very few mares after 1989. He sired 86 winners from 200 registered foals, with the best of his offspring being the Niigata Days Horton winner Make A Smart. Pedigree.